stranger to the rain. So go rest high on that mountain. Son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. So go rest high on that mountain. Son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to get started, but before we do, I just wanted to give everyone a friendly reminder. If you do happen to have a cell phone, if we could get you to turn that off or turn it to silent, it would be greatly appreciated. And then a lot of times when there's going to be a part of a service, I get up and kind of let people know that there's going to be some sharing that's coming up. And the reason why we're telling you about the sharing in advance is so you can kind of get your story put together. But a lot of the times I'll actually tell people ahead of time so they get the nerve to get up in front of the microphone. But I know a lot of you have worked here or still work here, and you don't need nerve getting up in front of the microphone. But there is going to be a time for sharing, so hopefully if you feel up to it, if you want to share something about from the family, the university, Sir Optimus, I know there's a lot of stories, and I even have a story, so I'll probably even share one too, if that's okay, Tyler. All right. And at this time, I'll turn things over to Tyler Dubsky.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Tyler, and I work here at Eastern. We want to welcome everybody here on behalf of the family, Kevin. This seems like an opportunity when we should open in prayer. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get started. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for each person here. Lord, be in this time as we remember someone that added so much value to so many lives. And Lord, in a time like this, there's just a lot of questions, a lot of disappointments. And I pray that you would be in those as well and be in this time. In your name we pray, amen. You know, in truth, I didn't have the opportunity to interact with Ashley a whole lot. She was a highly educated professor, and I work in administration. And so I've worked here long enough to figure out that given the choice between attending a meeting in Zabel Hall or the administration building and a root canal, most faculty are going to choose the root canal. So we're going to have some people come up and talk that worked with Ashley, that knew her well. But I just wanted to share one thing. When this all came about, I had a chance to sit down with Kevin, and he let me know he and Ashley were married for 25 years, which that's incredible, especially in this day and age. And I had completely forgotten about something. For several years, I had coffee on Thursday mornings with a bunch of guys at McDonald's. And oftentimes, Kevin and Ashley would be there having breakfast. And I would find myself stealing glances at them because I could tell a couple things. Number one, they really loved each other, and they really, really enjoyed being with one another. And it was such a beautiful thing for me to see their relationship and the care that they put into each other. So I wanted to share that. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Matt Seamers to come forward and talk a little bit about his relationship with Ashley.
Well, welcome. I've lectured in front of students for years and classroom students, so this was probably the hardest step forward I've made. I've known Ashley a long time. She lived in Mulvane, Kansas. I lived in Mulvane, Kansas. Home of the Dairy King, favorite Charlie, old settlers days. She graduated with my ex-girlfriend's twin sisters. I didn't mean to Brady laughter to that, but it's a true story. And I was 5 miles away from Mulvane when I got the text message at 2:30 in the morning, Kevin letting me know that Ashley passed. And I was in my sister's basement, and I just didn't know what to think. I was like, huh? This is confusing to me. My beloved president of the Faculty Senate, who took that role to help me be successful as an interim provost. She told me that. She goes, I'm doing this to help you be successful. But we're gorillas. We all went to college together. I've known this guy 30 years. He was a Sig Tau Gamma. I was a Sig Epsilon Beta fraternity. I played rugby in college. Kevin would oftentimes slip us notes under the door saying, don't ask for your budget from the rugby team until the end of the year because I can give you more money. So I've known the Walkers holistically, not just Ashley alone. And I take pride in the fact that I was asked to come up here and talk about and honoring her, but most of all as an adult. If you knew her, she had a passion for cooking. She had a passion for people. She was very therapeutic to be around. You could come to her with problems and just sit down and talk through them. I do walks across campus a lot, and I pop in to see how people are doing, and I would spend a lot of time in her office, just not to scare her, but have some chats about the Senate and the climate and so forth. And yeah, she'll be missed, especially in my heart and friends and family. And so wishing you whatever you need, Kevin, and onward we'll connect. So thank you.
Would Mrs. Shannon Wilmarth come forward?
Ashley and I met 10 years ago at Sir Optimist. When I joined, she had already been there and kind of showed me the ropes. We soon found out that we both shared the humor of, basically 15-year-old boys. We found most inappropriate things funny. Both discovered that we loved to cook. She just was, I don't know, people talk about soulmates. When it's your love of your life, and she was one of my soulmates for a girlfriend. And I'm just gonna tell you some fun facts about Ashley that you may not know, and stories that are appropriate to share, because there are probably a few that aren't. Ashley loved all things 80s. We were both children of the 80s. We were raised in the 80s. I think it's a good thing I wasn't raised in Kansas with her, or we probably would have found ourselves in a lot of trouble. But she loved shortcake, strawberry shortcake. We talked about the Sweet Valley High books, and if you're from our area, you know what I'm talking about. And we loved the Golden Girls, and so those were often memes, things we sat back and forth to each other. Every January, I attend a music festival in Cancun. Never convinced her to go, although I tried. But we had a Ladies of the 80s night, and Ashley always made sure that I was styling Ladies of the 80s. She would send me text messages with pictures of outfits, shirts, hairdos, makeup, you name it. So I'm hoping this year that I do Ashley proud by putting together my own Ladies of the 80s outfit. Ashley loved a good beauty pageant. You may find that shocking, because I have to admit I did. She became involved with the Mrs. Kansas beauty pageant and ultimately became certified to judge the Miss America pageant, which I find fascinating. And Ashley also was a closet makeup artist. Ashley was pretty low-key, but what you may not know is Ashley loved makeup, and she had the skills to apply said makeup. Tori and I one day showed up to her house to get ready for Witches Night Out, and there was Ashley with all of her makeup, including makeup she'd purchased for us, because the makeup she had wasn't going to work with our skin tone colors. So thanks to Ashley, we had a great night, and we're, I'm sure, the best-looking witches around. Ashley was also a gamer. She loved her Xbox, and she loved a good shoot-'em-up game, and she often told me it was the way she de-stressed after a long and stressful week being a professor. A couple years ago, Kevin finally purchased Ashley a new Xbox. Yes. But once Kevin did get it, Ashley gifted me her old one because I have a grandson who is a gamer. I have not mastered the Xbox, but I love to watch my grandson play, and every time I turn it on, I think of her. Ashley also bought herself her own Barbie doll and Barbie clothes so she could come join me and my granddaughter, when my granddaughter was about 5 years old, would come to our house and play Barbies with us, which I thought was awesome. And my granddaughter also did. She had no idea who Ashley was or what Ashley's name was, but Ashley showed up and played Barbies, so by Alba's account, Ashley was cool. A few years ago, Ashley decided to learn how to mountain bike. She rented a bike from Mountain Works Bike Shop and signed up for a skills class. Ashley jumped on that rental bike, and as soon as she got on, it was ass over tea kettle. The girl went over the handlebars. And from what Mark Harris told me, who shared the story with me, Ashley got up, dusted herself off, got back on her bike, and away she went. And Ashley loved her mountain bike, her purple Trek, and we have, and Kevin has graciously donated her bike to Mark Harris. So when another skills class comes up, if you would like to take it and you don't have a bike, you can ride Ashley's. She was always up for an adventure with me, so long as I planned it. She was like, just tell me what to Venmo you. I don't, just, you know, and she was game for whatever I planned. We did girls' weekends in Portland quite often, pre-pandemic. It was one of our favorite places to go. Every trip to Portland involved a trip to see our favorite drag queen, Darcel. The first time we went, she told me, we have to dress up. And I'm like, okay. I'll buy myself some new jeans. I got myself a button-up shirt. I might put on some boots with heels. I'm like, I can do this. I walk out of my hotel room and walk into Ashley's, and there she is in leather pants. They might have been pleather. And she had a bling-bling shirt on and heels, and her hair was done, and flashy makeup. And I'm like, well, I've underestimated this by a long shot. I'm like, so the next go-round, I had my somewhat flashy clothes. I wasn't quite as flashy as Ashley was, but we made it work. So Ashley and I both married older men, lucky guys, and figured we'd outlive our husbands, and we needed a plan. So our plan was to grow old together. We were going to find ourselves somewhere warm to live, buy ourselves a house, get ourselves a pool boy, and live out our years together. And now, like many of you, we have to face a world without Ashley. We have to come up with a new plan. And as corny as it sounds, Ashley made me a better person. Ashley let me be me and loved me no matter what. And for that, I will always be grateful. And I know she'll be with me always and with all of you.
Now I'm going to ask Miss Kate Geckler to come up.
I'm going to go ahead and read Ashley's obituary. I'm going to try not to use the mic. Ashley Robin Bauer Walker of Island City, thank you, was called home on July 6, 2023 at the age of 47, but her impact on the world will continue, as we've heard here today. Ashley was born in Liberal, Kansas on September 17, 1975, to her mother Donna and father Terry. She graduated from Mulvaney High School and then Pratt Community College in Pratt, Kansas. She continued her education at Pittsburgh State University in Pittsburgh, Kansas, where she received her MBA with a concentration in accounting and met the love of her life, Kevin Walker. They were married May 23, 1998, and she and Kevin both earned their JD degrees from Gonzaga University in Spokane. She worked in the State Small Business Development Center office in Spokane, and she and Kevin later opened a law practice together in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Subsequently, both made career moves into higher education at Eastern Oregon University. Ashley began her career as an educator at EOU in 2013, where she was the tenured associate professor of business, and she was currently serving her third year as faculty senate chair, as well as the chair of the university's academic standards committee. She was a beloved teacher and a strong, strong person in our community. She always strived to make learning accessible to all students and was well known for having the most fun in her classroom. Ashley's students loved her. That wasn't in the obituary, but I think we all know that. In addition to being missed by her colleagues and former students, she will also lovingly be remembered by her friends and Sir Optimist of LeGrand, whom she served as past president, and by the many young women who were coached by her in softball. Ashley passionately loved the outdoors. In addition to softball, loved cycling and mountain biking. She was an outstanding cook, and if she had prepared a meal for you, you were in for a treat. She lit the world for everyone who knew her. Her colleagues were touched by her positivity and thoughtfulness in her campus leadership roles, and her family is forever grateful for the joy she brought to every family gathering. She was a wonderful encourager and a great role model for us all. Left to cherish her memory are her husband, Kevin, her mother, Donna, mother-in-law, Linda, a brother, Brandon Bauer, and his wife, Anne, a niece, Lily, 12 aunts, uncles, numerous cousins, and her beloved cats. She was preceded in death by her father, Terry, and grandparents, Gordon and Crystal, and Bill and Doraline, and her father-in-law, Jim.
So I know a lot of you know Gib, the AV guy, but he told me before we started that I turn this microphone on and I wait 5 seconds before I start talking. So I did good, Gib. Just wanting to let you know. So my the first few times that I encountered Ashley, she always asked me, I would see her up here on campus because I was on the EOU Foundation, and every time I would see her, she was like, oh, did they serve lunch there? And I said, yeah, and she goes, did you get plenty to eat? And I said, yes, I did. Every time I saw her, she would ask, did you get plenty to eat? And then we had a funeral up here, and she was at that, and she said, did you get plenty to eat? And I said, yes. So one time I asked her, and I said, why do you always ask me that? And she says, because you're too damn skinny. She goes, look at you. And so then at Festival of Trees, there through the Seroptimus, I got to know Ashley. And one time she came up to me and she goes, are you all excited for this year at Festival of Trees? And I said, oh, when is it? Because I was the MC of the Festival of Trees. And I said, when is it? And she just got this terrified look on her face. And she goes, well, it's always that first weekend in December. And I'm like, oh. And she stomps her foot down and she goes, Kevin, we changed the date for you. And she started to get really upset, and she reached out and she grabs my hand and kind of squeezes it, and she says, you're going to be there, aren't you? And I was kind of hesitating. She's like, Kevin. And I said, I should have made a joke. Now I know how she says Kevin when she's not happy. And I said, no, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And she goes, you almost gave me a heart attack. And she goes, I'm going to get you back for this. I will get you back. She goes, you had me going for a long time. And so those of you that, if you can kind of look around the room, you see the yellow roses, and that is all the people from the Seroptimus. And not only was Ashley very giving and volunteering her time and doing everything up here on all the committees and the Senate, but she also did a tremendous amount for the community. And if you look at somebody that owns a business in the community like me, when I get up at the Festival of Trees and get on the microphone, that's benefiting my business. And so and yes, I love doing it, but it's benefiting my business. Ashley had nothing to benefit from her giving other than just giving her heart. And she didn't get a higher pay scale here at Eastern because she helped out and volunteered around town. She did it because she was a kind, amazing person, and I kind of felt bad when I gave her the rough time over that, but, and unfortunately, she never had the chance to get me back, but. So we do have a microphone to pass around, and if you just would like to raise your hand, I know it's always tough to get it started, but if we could get the first 1 or 2 people going, we'll do this for 15 minutes or so if people want to talk that long.
I'm Ashley's Aunt Becky, and I first met Ashley the moment she was born. I was an OB nurse, and her mom had chosen to come to deliver at the hospital where I worked, and I got home from work at 11 o'clock, and Donna says, I'm in labor, I need to go to the hospital. So we turned around, went back, and next to Donna, I was the first person that got to see her other than the staff that were in the delivery room. And then when she was about 6, we had a big family gathering because we had 2 weddings within a week of each other. And we decided to take all the kids to the swimming pool one day. Well, Ashley beat me through the dressing room, and I walked out of the dressing room to my nephew kneeling on the side of the pool saying, reach for my hand, Ashley, reach for my hand. And she had jumped in the pool thinking she could touch bottom, and she could not. And so I jumped in and grabbed her and brought her to the side, and we got her calmed down, and we eventually got her back in the water. But there were 3 cousins that were very close in age to each other, and so those 3 cousins got to do a lot of trips with me. We enjoyed being with each other and went to amusement parks together and fairs together and all kinds of activities together. So Ashley has has a great place in my heart.
Okay,
Come on up.
hang on for a second. Kevin, you know who this is, right? I couldn't help myself, but I had to come up here and see you for a second. Okay, so I didn't realize you've been here 10 years, 2013? Is that when it was? Yeah, I was there that day. Yeah, I was there that day. Bonded with this guy right away because I grew up on a ranch. And he understood the difference between a combine and swather. So that got some brownie points in my heart, because there's a lot of people, no offense you faculty out there, that grew up in the city, does not know what the difference is between a combine and a swather. So we got bonded right away with that. And then I got, yeah, between him and me and the gate post. Does anybody know what that means? Oh, gosh. Matt, will you hire me back? Matt knows what's between you and me and the gate post. Visualize this, the gate post. Me. Nothing happens between the gate post and me. So we kept things in confidence. What ended up happening is we developed a relationship over time, and forever grateful. There's, I know a lot of these Seroptimus women. I can tell you that she adored every one of you and what you represented. She adored what you do for women, power to the women. So as I'm walking in, I see Patty, and I said, so can I give some money to Seroptimus for an honor her? Oh yeah, well, of course they want money. They always want money. So I don't, she almost paused me and write a check, but said I couldn't do that right now. You're her mom. She talks so highly of you. I never was privileged to officially meet you, but I know that you moved here. I knew that you lived with them. I knew everything about you. You don't know anything about me, but I know a lot about you, and you don't want to know about me. Kevin and I had something very unique. It was weird walking down the hall. It's just that that relationship that hopefully all of you have had that kind of relationship. I had that with Kevin. Then Ashley jumped into our life. The potlucks began. Janet? By far, I don't know what College of Business, Scott, you're going to do about this, but you probably need to have several meetings to discuss who is going to take over the College of Business potluck, because that was Ashley, hands down. If Ashley, well, Ashley always had food there. I was going to say, you know, we always made sure she was the one that was a part of it. Great cook. The part that I think a lot of people miss, in higher education, we talk about the accounting professor. She touched millions of, I don't know, millions, a number of students. But what we don't talk about is the hallway, the relationships in the other buildings. That is what EOU is and was with Ashley. It's going to be a significant loss for EOU. I know it in my heart. But I also know there's some great faculty out there that will pick up the sleeves, pick up the boots, you know, like Ashley would want it to be. So I retired a while ago. I haven't been in this building the day I left here. But I had to come here for Kevin and for Ashley, because between you and me and the gate post, we've got some things that we will not share. Combine or swather. So how many knows the difference between a combine and swather? Raise your hand. God, thank God we have some that still know what that difference is, because as a little girl that grew up in John Day, Oregon, it's a little embarrassing to have a university in Eastern Oregon and we have folks that don't know that. So hire me on. One of the pre-trainings for all employees, faculty, staff is discuss that. All right, thank you, Kevin, and I love you dearly.
Okay, who's going to follow that one? There's got to be at least one seroptimist that's going to say something, right? No? I know it's tough. Yes. Because oh, Patty, you volunteered Patty. I like that, Dylan. All right.
The first time I saw Ashley, we had a fair at the middle school for all nonprofit organizations to strut their stuff. And here came this young woman up to our table, and she says, "Oh, Seroptimus, I'm so glad to see you. I want to belong to the Seroptimus." Donna, did you belong to Seroptimus? I think that was one of the things she said. Oh, anyway, she was enthralled with our organization, which many of you may not know. We try to provide empowerment to women through economic means and education so that they can make as much money as the men. But she joined us. She became our treasurer for several years and kept us right on the money. And we were proud that she was part of our organization. Oh yeah, she was president too also, so yeah. And this is the president now, and it's a big job, so she wanted everybody to know that Ashley was president.
Yes.
So I knew Ashley through working here at the college, but I also got to know her through coaching softball. So one of the pictures up there was her with Michael Field's daughter, Aubrey, and when they moved to town, there wasn't a travel softball team that she could participate on, and so we created one. And Ashley jumped on board, and she and Kevin created the nonprofit so we could get going, and it was great coaching with her. I loved it. But one day after practice, we're putting gear away, and she walks over and she's holding her eye. And I was like, "Ashley, what did you do?" And she's like, "I stepped on a rake and it hit me in the face." I had seen it on cartoons, but I had never actually seen it in real life. And I was like, only you would do that. And so she walked around with a black eye for about 2 weeks, covered it with makeup, hit her head, split it open. I mean, she did the whole 9 yards. So after that, every time we put gear away, we always warned Ashley about the rakes. And I will never look at a rake again the same way without thinking of Ashley.
Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Nathan Green. I'm Ashley's cousin. She was 7 months older than I was. She was one of my first friends. Y'all gonna have to get real cool with me. I will get crying, okay? She was one of my first friends, and I'm an only child, and she was like a sister to me as well. You know, some of my strongest memories and impressions in life are the times I spent with our extended family and at Ashley's house with in the overwhelming impression of love and warmth that I got from Ashley and Brandon and Donna and Terry. In the Hebrew faith, there's a tradition that when someone's grieving, you say, "May their memory be a blessing." And I think by your presence here, you show that that's hardly true. She's so special, and she'll always be so special to all of us. Thank you.
Anybody else?
is Gwen. I'm another one of Ashley's aunts. And just on behalf of our whole family, Donna and Kevin and Brandon and their family, we just thank you so much for being here and sharing your memories with Ashley, about Ashley too. She's so precious to us, and it makes us feel better to know that she's precious to you all too. Ashley had such a vivacious personality and enthusiasm for life, and one of the first memories that I can think of was of her as a toddler, just learning to walk, and she wanted me to chase her, you know, and so we're at my mom and dad's, and I'm chasing her on my hands and knees, and she's running and laughing and giggling, and fell and hit her head on the corner of the side table. And I don't know, Shannon, you probably were one of the only ones who saw that, but she has a crease in her forehead for the whole rest of her life. That was a good memory for me, because when I would see her, I would always apologize. Oh, Ashley, I'm so sorry. And of course, she used that as an occasion to tease me and laugh at me, and just that good, memorable laugh that I love her, that we will miss that for sure. And as she and Brandon got older, they were little, young children, and loved to be with their mom and dad in the car. And as they were traveling down the road and they came to a stoplight, or were approaching a stoplight, they had this little chant of "Turn green, turn green," and so the light half the time would turn green, and if it wasn't green, they would say, if it was already green, they would say, "Stay green, stay green." So just cute kids. And even as an adult, she maintained that joie de vivre and loved passionately and wholeheartedly. And she loved Kevin with all her heart. Her last Facebook post mentioned that love for him, and how she had been so fortunate to find you her first time around. You're right, Tyler, they shared great times together. They loved to banter about politics. They loved the Dallas Cowboys, and they loved the Kansas State Wildcat football. Ashley loved to cook for Kevin, became proficient at many exotic dishes that she prepared just simply because she loved him. Cooking really was her love language. She also loved her Traeger, and Kevin's rolling his eyes. Many of you have been beneficiaries of her good old brisket and ribs, so she was just a great cook. She also loved the rest of her family. She's responsible for her mom and dad moving out here, and very close to her dad, and heartbroken when he died. She and Donna were best friends, spent so much time together, and never had crosswords. Donna was telling me today one time that she could remember that they had crosswords between them. And Ashley also, Shannon didn't just like makeup. She liked to dress her mom. She didn't necessarily like to shop for herself, but she loved to shop for Donna, and she was determined Donna wasn't going to look old. So good job, Ashley. And so Brandon lives halfway across the country, and so even though they were far apart, they kept in good touch with each other and knew what each other was involved with in their own lives. And she adored Anne, Brandon's wife, but she had a special part in her heart for you, Lily. She knew all the interests that Lily had, often sent care packages and other gifts that validated those interests. As Lily decided to take up powerlifting, Ashley was her inspiration for that, and for her athletically and other in general. Ashley could lift a house if she wanted to. And Donna prepared a board with her about her Sufferlandria award that she received. And so if you don't know what that is, you need to Google that and you will be impressed with Ashley's stamina. She set the bar high, academically and personally also, for Lily and for the rest of us. We as her aunts and uncles were also blessed by her. She was the best tour guide for us as we came to the Northwest. It was just wonderful to have her. She knew all the great places to see and all the great places to eat and shop, and we were just so blessed to have her do that. She was she also gave sublime shoulder massages, just awesome, those strong hands. But she also could hug the life back into you if you were upset or discouraged. Those hugs were the best. Her cousins are scattered across the country, but she still kept up with them through the internet and other social media. She was always had something clever to respond to them and congratulated them when they had good successes also. Most of you know, and several of you have alluded to how much she loved this community. She served it well and enjoyed the deep friendships that she had with many. She loved the fellowship with her Seroptimus sisters, and she always relished the pancake breakfasts and the Christmas tree festivals. So we will think of her at those times. She loved the university, the collegiality of the faculty, staff, and administrators. She loved her students and went to extraordinary lengths to make her classes fun. We talked about she designed accounting lessons around the Empire version of Monopoly, and she was invited to share that at a national conference. She's always innovative and creative. We've talked about her love of the outdoors, mountain biking, cycling, and being on the softball diamond. I loved to watch her coach. Her passion for the game was unsurpassed, and also for her players. She had a way of making each one of them feel special, and she knew how to correct them gently and to coach them to where they didn't feel threatened by that. She also knew the inside scoop on the game, and I'm just so impressed when I ask her about the new rule for pitchers wearing a mask. And she knew the data that supported why that was necessary. She also followed collegiate softball faithfully. As a way of explaining God's tender mercy toward us, the psalmist says he collects our tears in a bottle. Our bottles are overflowing. We are so sad to say goodbye. But we are also so thankful for the difference that she made in our lives. Donna summed it up when she said that one of their favorite activities to do at Christmas, Ashley and Donna together, aside from making her divinity right in, her world-famous divinity, was to watch It's a Wonderful Life. They were always touched by George and his conversation with the angel Clarence, how the world was better because of having George in it, how things would have been disastrously different if not for his presence. Clarence says, "It's strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives, and when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?" Even though her life was cut short, and her absence is going to leave a terrible hole in our hearts. She touched so many, and her influence was widespread. The world truly is a better place because she was born. She had a wonderful life. And if you would allow me, I would like to close with a prayer also. Merciful Father, you are so good. We thank you for the life of Ashley. And we thank you for the comfort that you give us in the midst of grief and sadness. As we move through the days and weeks ahead, we pray that you would remind us of the words of St. Paul when he instructed us to keep our thoughts focused on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, excellent or praiseworthy. We pray that you would go with us now. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Just look at me. I'm limited, and just look at you. You can do all I couldn't do, Linda. So now it's up to you for both of us. Now it's up to you. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes a sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes a sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed
Okay, remember when I said Ashley never had a chance to get me back? Well, she got me back. And because while I was sitting there thinking about the story I was going to tell, I was supposed to be playing a song that I forgot. So I'm sorry, Kevin. So she did get me back. So if you would just bear with me, we have another song to play, and then Tyler's going to conclude the service, and then we'll have our departing song.
Take another breath, don't go to sleep. You've seen this all before and it cuts deep. But it's hard for me to stand by what you weep. Hang in that, darling. I know you need to bleed it out. And I'll be by your side when you need to scream it out. Wish I could take the sting, be like armored wings around you, and I will keep you all through the storm that surrounds you. Surrounds you. You'll be stronger every day, but it cuts deep. Jesus moves it into one large stone, too heavy to roll it out alone. But it won't stay forever, you should know. Hang in that, darling. I know there are still many days to dread, but the ones to come are your own stories unread. Wish I could take the sting, be like armored wings around you, and I will keep you all through the storm that surrounds you, surrounds you. You'll be stronger every day, but it cuts deep. Wish I could take the sting, be like armored wings around you, and I will keep you up through the storm that surrounds you, surrounds you. You'll be stronger every day, but it cuts deep.
Well, that concludes our time together. Once again, we want to thank everybody for coming this afternoon and spending time. There's going to be a reception in the lobby with refreshments. Please stick around and connect with one another and tell stories and spend some time fellowshipping. Thank you again for coming this afternoon.